Martin Truex Jr., our most recent winner in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, has joined us. He won last week at Sonoma. Big win for him and the number 56 Napa Auto Parts Toyota. Gets Martin up to 10th in points, and more importantly, gets him a win for the season as we get down to the nitty-gritty in establishing that chase field here in 10 races. So, Martin, certainly been I would think, a busy week for you. We had a few days to let it soak in. Just how big was this win for you, and how are you going to take it now to repeat more wins?
Well, yeah, I mean, we talked last week about how big of a deal it was, and that didn't get any smaller this week, I can tell you that. So, had a great week, spent a lot of time with the team. It was some of the coolest things you get to do after a win like that is to go back and look at all the messages and the phone calls and the tweets and, go to the shop on Tuesday and see everybody's face that worked so hard to get us to victory lane and to make us, allow us to show up at the racetrack each week and have race cars and have haulers full of equipment and all the things that go along with it. So just a great week to see everybody's excitement. Spent the day in Atlanta on Wednesday with a lot of the Napa folks and had a great day down there. Everybody's so excited, and it's been a great week. But, the important part is we're back at the track and we've got to keep it up. So the team's been doing a great job lately. Really, we've had fast cars all year long, and we've talked about that a lot. Mile and a halves have been good for us, and so we're looking forward to having a great weekend here in Kentucky. This has not been one of our best racetracks as far as mile and a halves go. But we did have a good run here last year, and hoping to build on that and see what we can do this weekend.
Questions now from Martin. We'll start right here with Mike Embry, and then we'll go to Claire, and then to David.
Mike Embry, USA Today. Martin, you're now in sort of that happy medium ground where you certainly can finish in the top 10 in points, but you have a win, and you're certainly also a candidate for the wild card. How does that, I realize you go into every weekend trying to win races, but how does all that play into your thinking going forward these next 10 races?
Well, I think, for us, we want to keep moving forward in the points. I think that, certainly we deserve to be probably higher up than we are based on DNFs and, part failures and things that we've had this year. So I think that, if we can just continue to do what we've been doing lately without the problems, without the engine failures and problems that we've had throughout this season, based on performance, I think we can keep, continue to climb and hopefully, get in a position where we can maybe win another race or two and have some points to start out on the chase. We started pretty far behind last year because we didn't win a race, and so it'd be nice to get the chase. Obviously, we got to make the chase first. I mean, there's no guarantee there, but if we do make it, it'd be nice to start out with some extra points, that's for sure.
Okay, now we're going to go to Claire, and then to David, and then to Bob.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Does it surprise you, when you are not winning and you walk in and no one pays a lot of attention, and then when you win, all of a sudden everyone's paying attention to you and wanting to talk to you and wanting to interview you, and then stories are written like, will he win again? When will he win again? And how quickly that all just surfaces?
Well, I mean, you guys need something to talk about, so I get it. And, at the end of the day, this sport is all about performance. It's all about winning. That's what everybody talks about. That's what everybody wants to talk about. Who's winning, who's going to win next, who needs to win more. I mean, honestly, that's what we talk about a lot. And I think we lose sight of the fact sometimes that winning's not everything, but it's very important, obviously. I think you're judged on how many races you win. That's what, in this sport, the greatest drivers ever are the guys that have won the most races. Maybe they're not the greatest drivers ever if you were, there's probably some guys that were really good that didn't win as many races as well, but that's just the way it is. This is the toughest sport in the world, and the guys that are really good win a lot. And we haven't won enough, so hopefully we'll win some more.
Are you noticing the attention that you're getting now?
Yeah, that'll go away if we don't win again, in a couple weeks. It's just, right now it's a hot topic, and we're damn happy to be a hot topic right now.
We'll go to David, Bob, and then Jeff.
David Caravelle, NASCAR. Tom, two questions. First of all, given how good you guys have been traditionally on mile and a halves, and do you look at the schedule late in the year and think if we make the chase, boy, this sets up pretty well for us?
We do, absolutely. But I think that there's still so much to learn with this new car. We're still, so many things still about this car are changing. You know, the stuff we ran at the beginning of the year at Vegas, California, it's not even close now. So yes and no. I mean, yes, because we've typically been good at those racetracks, but at the same time, we need to keep evolving our stuff. We need to keep working on our cars. We've got a new chassis that the team's been working on that we're going to come out, hopefully have ready to race here in a few weeks. And so we just need to keep making sure we get better. But as far as our team, the 56 car goes, mile and a halves are definitely our best racetracks. So definitely the chase schedule is one that definitely fits us if we can have our performance where it needs to be when that time comes.
The mile and a half thing, does it fit your team? Does it fit you as a driver? Or just where does the strength come from?
That's a great question. I think both. I think me and my team, I think Chad really understands what it takes to make cars run fast on those racetracks. I really enjoy them. I understand, I think, what it takes to run fast on them as well. But I think at the end of the day, you're only as good as the car you're sitting in. And, you know, Chad's done really, really a good job of giving me the stuff I need to run fast at those places.
All right, we'll go to Bob Pockris and then to Jeff Gluck.
Bob Pockris, Sporting News. After somebody wins, after they haven't won in a while, or if they get one win, you always hear, well, hopefully this opens up the door to more wins.
Yeah.
I assume you probably said the same thing back at Dover in 2007. What might make this different? What might make this the time that it will happen for you?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I can't see into the future, but I do feel good about where we are with our race team, obviously. I know I definitely will race with a little bit less pressure, you know, on myself. You know, I think it's, you know, last week was an interesting race for us because I went into the race thinking, man, I don't think our car is good enough, you know, and okay, people don't expect me to win on a road course. So mentally I can say, you know, I'm going to take care of my stuff. I'm not going to get too excited. If I'm running 5th or 6th or 7th, that's probably, you know, I'm going to be okay with that. And so when you don't expect to win, sometimes it's easier to win because you don't have all those things going through your mind. If something goes wrong, you don't get all pissed off and lose your mind. You know, you can kind of take those things, you know, in stride and just keep working. So I don't know, last week it was just so easy. Everything went so smoothly. You know, it was just our time. And we've been close before. We've talked about, you know, we've led the most laps and dominated races and not won. And those are the days that really make you know, get you mad. But I think that for us, we'll definitely race with less pressure as a team, and I think it'll come to us a little bit easier. But at the same time, you got to work hard. You got to perform. Nobody's going to give you anything out here. You know, this is as tough as it gets, and winning here is very difficult. So, you know, we enjoyed that one, and we're going to work hard to try to get more, but there is no guarantees, that's for sure.
Jeff Gluck, and then we'll go to Ryan, and then back to the back.
It's kind of a shot in the dark. Jeff Gluck from USA Today. It's kind of random maybe, but I was wondering if Mark Martin has had any wisdom or advice for you over the last couple of years of being your teammate. Obviously, you know, you've been trying to win, and he's obviously knows a lot about the sport. Had he ever said anything to you that helped you, you know, get through this streak or helped you with your racing?
Well, he's been obviously a big part of our team the last 2 years, and it's been great to work with him. You know, he's always complimentary. I think, honestly, the biggest thing was just, he's like, you're going to get one. You know, he's like, just keep doing what you're doing. You guys are awesome. You're fast. You're doing all the right things. Don't get discouraged when things don't go your way because, you know, you're going to get a win. So he was right, you know, and it's nice to see somebody like that understand what we're going through, you know, and give good advice and just say, hey, don't get too upset about this. You know, you're going to get more opportunities as good as you guys run. So that was always cool to hear that from him.
Let's go to Ryan McGee.
Ryan McGee, ESPN. Do we make too much out of momentum? Because when you look at the numbers, it seems like, you know, there's a stretch of top tens and then it goes away, or you're competing for wins and it goes away. Do we here make too much of that, or is that momentum there now?
That's a great question because we see it all the time in the sport. You know, guys get momentum and all of a sudden they start, you know, cranking off wins and top fives, and it's like, how did they do that? Where did it come from? I've been in the same situation. You know, back in '07 when I won at Dover, it was like I finished first, second, third 3 weeks in a row. You know, we climbed 15 spots in the points or something, and we're like, how did this happen all of a sudden? It's one of those things where you sure wish you could figure it out. You know, you wish you could find out how to get it rolling or to find that momentum, because it's definitely something that's part of the sport. And it's definitely hard to explain, but you see it all the time, and you hope that you have it, that's for sure.
Let's go to gentleman in the back, and then we'll go right here.
Jeff Woods, WBKO. Martin, you mentioned that Kentucky wasn't one of your best, mile-and-a-half oval tracks. Do you enjoy racing here? Obviously, there's talk of the bumps, but, I mean, how much do you enjoy coming here to race?
The bumps, yes. It's so rough. It's so difficult with these cars to get them working. You know, we're on bump stops. The splitter's very close to the ground on these cars. You know, we get about 2.5 inches, I think, of splitter height, and so, you know, these cars are very sensitive to aero. It's very important to keep the splitter on the racetrack to make the cars turn, to have downforce to make grip. So you're trying to keep the splitter close to the ground, and then you're driving across bumps that feel like they're 3 feet tall. It's a heck of a challenge. It's very, very difficult, very hard on the crew chiefs. But I think it's fun to drive on. It's because you can move around on the racetrack, and it's so line sensitive. You have to really focus in, hit your marks. Sometimes during the race you'll find a little spot where you can miss one bump just by a little bit or hit another one just right, and it makes your car do what you need it to do. It's kind of fun to be able to do that. So definitely a cool place to race for sure. Very, very challenging, obviously, but it's a good place to race, and I enjoy it.
Go ahead, sir.
George Vogel, WLWT Cincinnati. A little bit of a follow-up to that, because I was going to go in that vein, why this has been so difficult for you. Do you think we might see more passing in this race than what we've seen in the past couple of years? Because it seems like there hasn't been a lot of side-by-side and passing in this race.
Yeah, I mean, and that's directly related to the banking on the track, the bumps in the track. There's just not a lot of grip up high. You know, right now, today, I mean, if you got out of the black, it was pretty treacherous. So that's not a good thing. That's something they obviously, I'm sure they'll look at. But the bottom lane is really flat. The middle groove is where all the grip is, and there's really none above that. You know, it's hard to race side by side when there's only one lane of on the racetrack that has really good grip. So, you know, too wide last year was about as wide as it got, and the groove never seemed to move up, which was unfortunate. I think they did change the tire this time around. Left side tire is a little bit different, so it may move up, it may get wider. It's hard to say. Right now, it's no wider than it was last year.
Anything else from Martin? Follow up for Bob, and then we'll finish with Chase.
Bob Hocker, Sporting News. Last year, near the end of the year, you had talked about wanting Chad to maybe take some more chances, that you guys have finally gotten in a good rhythm and with consistent good finishes, and maybe take some chances to get wins. Was last week, did you consider last week taking a chance at all on fuel and sticking to your strategy?
No, we really stuck. I mean, we had kind of a strategy going in, and obviously with last week the race was really crazy the way it played out with the cautions and guys pitting under caution, which you never see at road courses. Everybody's always trying to pit under green. The strategy changed a few times throughout that race, but no, we were good to go. When we topped off at, what was it, lap 68, 69, something like that, we topped off, and we were to the good then, so there was no risk involved. That was all straight up.
Final question right there in the back.
Martin, this is Chase Wilhelm from PRN. Going back to talking about the racing here at Kentucky Speedway, what would you do, or what are your thoughts about improving the racing here so there is more passing? Because you talked about the banking and changing the tire and stuff like that. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's a tough situation. We've seen tracks try to do that before, and it's very difficult. You hate to even say the word repave. I mean, I hate to even say it because I'm not a big fan of repaves. I don't know. It's just something about the surface. It's not where it's been ground before. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't. It doesn't produce that racing that we see like places like Atlanta. You know, the older racetracks, the old paved racetracks, old Michigan. You know, where the track has a lot of grip, where there's no rubber. You know, this place is like a lot of the newer tracks. The only place that has grip is where there's rubber in the track. So I don't know. I don't know how we can incorporate that older style racing or older style racetrack where you know, if you need grip, you got to go to where there's no rubber in the racetrack. That's the difference maker to me on tracks that, you know, get super wide and you can run, you know, from the white line all the way to the fence, as opposed to, you know, some of the newer places where the groove stays narrow because you have to run where everybody's running to make grip and to find grip.
Martin, thanks for coming in. Congratulations again last week. That
Thank
never
you.
gets old, and good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.